designed and built for specific war tasks, comprise an important part of the Army's transport system. Trucks driven by soldiers carry troops on lightning thrusts at the enemy. Without a constant stream of truck-hauled ammunition, most guns would soon be useless. Food and supplies, the field kitchens themselves depend on trucks. Thousands and thousands of our war wounded are alive today because right behind the battle lines, ambulances manned by men and women of our armed forces were waiting to carry the wounded back to safe areas and medical attention. Built by the Dodge Division, Chrysler Corporation military vehicles have been designed for use under fire in battle. A great fleet of these vehicles have been delivered to our own armies and to the Allied armies. The United States Army has used Dodge-built military vehicles for many years. Back as far as 1933, the company was building trucks to fulfill some of the requirements of the Army. Consequently, when the United States entered the war in 1941, and the Army wanted thousands and thousands of trucks built and delivered just as quickly as this could be done, the company was ready to put into quantity production thoroughly tested fighting vehicles engineered by the Army and the company for the job to be done. Since then, thousands upon thousands of military vehicles, with models constantly being improved, have been built here at the huge Dodge truck plant, which covers 69 acres on the outskirts of Detroit. Many of the parts and sub-assemblies needed to build the finished trucks are brought in from other Chrysler Corporation divisions. Great highway trucks haul in engines, rear axles and differentials from the Dodge main plant. Front and rear axles and differentials from the Highland Park plant. Brakes and brake supports from the Chrysler Jefferson plant, and sheet metal body stampings from the big presses of the DeSoto division. 10 railroad sidings are needed to handle the incoming and outgoing traffic of all the other parts, supplied by the other divisions and plants, and from nearly 4,000 subcontractors, large and small, located in many states. There are 3 main buildings in the Dodge truck plant operations, the largest of which houses the production line operations. The next largest, inspections, final repair, and finish. And a smaller building where the military vehicles are partially disassembled and boxed for overseas shipment. Production begins with the plotting of assembly procedure and schedules on these scale models by production men using miniature machines, conveyor lines, parts, and sub-assemblies. From the moment a frame is lowered in position at the beginning of the line, production men constantly seeking improvements plan to have parts and sub-assemblies, whether made here or shipped in, arrive at any one of the assembly lines just as they are needed. The continuous movement of the line depends upon the right thing being at the right station just when it is needed. Very few parts and sub-assemblies remain stationary for long after they arrive at the truck plant. There is a constant shuttle of materials converging on the assembly line from overhead conveyors and in tractor-moved bins. Down at the beginning of the assembly lines, a load of frames comes in from the stockpile. The assembly line procedure at the truck plant is fundamentally the same as that used during peacetime manufacture of passenger cars and trucks. The frame begins its journey along the line upside down, so that undercarriage sub-assemblies and parts can be held in place by their own weight, and so people can work on them in easy and natural positions. On the sub-assembly lines, located alongside the main lines, changes are constantly being made to turn out better work, faster, and cheaper. This machine uses electricity to expand undersized holes so that a cross member can be inserted automatically in the right position. By the use of this 30-ton cold rivet press, brake assemblies can be fabricated with a great saving of time and labor. To ensure built-in Army-required quality in every Dodge military vehicle, inspections are constantly being made on the sub-assembly lines, as well as the main assembly line. Every operation performed during assembly must pass rigid inspection. After the undercarriage units have been installed, chain falls are attached and the chassis is turned over and placed lengthwise on the conveyor. This permits easy access to the remaining assembly operations. On this merry-go-round assembly section, Engines and transmissions are made ready for installation and then moved to the main assembly line. At these stations, the engine, drive shaft, and transfer case are installed. Then the chassis moves into a spray booth. Paint is sprayed on first from one side and then the other. The men doing the work are protected from the paint vapor by a curtain of forced air which draws the spray away from them. Out on the freight docks, tires are unloaded and hung on the hooks of an endless overhead conveyor line. The traveling conveyor line serves as a storage space for the tires until they are needed for each vehicle as it comes down the assembly lines. At the tire station, only the tires needed are taken off the conveyor. The others get a free ride until they come back past and are needed. At this busy merry-go-round assembly station, the tires are mounted on wheels and inflated correctly and put on another conveyor which delivers them to the main assembly lines. As the chassis emerges from the drying oven, wearing its first coat of Army paint, tires and wheels are ready and waiting. The fender and radiator sub-assembly merry-go-round, which is just off the main line, prepares these units for installation on the approaching chassis. In this section, sheet metal stampings are started through a series of operations in semi-automatic welding machines to weld them into strong body parts. Step by step, the units take shape. The use of specially designed machines and equipment save time and cost for the taxpayer. On this conveyor line, bodies begin to take shape. Later, they go upstairs for cleaning and painting. On this sub-assembly line, seat cushions and instruments are added. Finally, all parts of the body are together and arrive at the end of the body line. There, a little overhead Tunerville trolley picks them up and hustles them over to the main assembly line to a waiting chassis. This must be exactly the right chassis for the right body. After the body has been lowered into place, the trolley rushes back for another, or by the time it can pick up another and get back, a new chassis will be waiting there for it. As the vehicle, now complete with body, nears the end of the line, some of the final assembly inspections are made. Here it is at the end of the line, just 1 hour and 40 minutes after the bare chassis frame began its journey. It has not only been completely assembled, it has also been painted and dried. The coordinated efforts and planning of many people have made this possible. And although this moment has been repeated on these assembly lines thousands upon thousands of times, the driver always wonders just a second, anxiously, until... and off it goes. When the Army trucks leave the assembly line, they are given a brief dynamometer roll test. At this time, the operation of the transmission gears and transfer case is checked, and any necessary motor adjustments made. Then the headlights are focused. As soon as this is completed, the vehicles are ready for a short road test. All Dodge military vehicles are given a 5-mile road test, and in addition, 1 out of each 100 gets a 100-mile road test. These test runs are normally conducted under ordinary highway conditions. Following the running test, the trucks are driven over to the finishing building. In general, the vehicles come in at one door of the plant and work progressively to another door where they are either driven away or go to be packed and shipped out. On this inspection line, inspectors and mechanics go over each vehicle to make sure again that it is mechanically okay. Radio engineers have proven that unless equipped with silencing or suppressing devices, every motor-driven vehicle is a miniature radio broadcasting station, powerful enough to reveal its location to radio detectors every time it is started or moved. Consequently, suppressors are installed on every Dodge-built Army vehicle. These delicate instruments determine the effectiveness of the suppression devices built into the truck. To pass, the vehicles must prove they cannot be heard by a radio detector only a few feet away from them. The rooms in which these tests are made were designed by the Corporation Engineering Division in cooperation with the Army Ordnance Department, and are reported to be among the most effective known to industry. A radio wave simply can't get out or into one of them when the doors are shut. After the vehicles have passed the radio screen test, They are given the finishing touches, which prepare them for delivery to the drive-away lot or the packing plant. Although bodies differ, and the six-wheel drive trucks have an extra axle, insofar as the chassis are concerned, most Dodge Fighting Army trucks are built of 90% interchangeable parts. This fact is of tremendous importance in combat areas where trucks must be kept in operation, and big spare parts depots are very hard to maintain. Some Dodge Army trucks are delivered on 4 or 6 wheels ready to go. These stored in master depots and shipped by Army order. Other trucks are driven over to the nearby packing plant, where they will be partially disassembled and placed in crates for shipment either overseas or to other dispersal centers. In general, the trucks are reduced to their smallest compact mass, stripping off items that might be damaged in transit or which take up too much room if left on. The degree of disassembly depends upon the type of vehicle being made ready for shipment. Packing the trucks for shipment proceeds according to plans worked out to conserve space and to give the maximum amount of protection under all shipping conditions. Vehicles are packed so that they may be unpacked quickly and easily under field conditions and made ready for use in the shortest time possible. Railroad cars go out loaded with trucks, or drivers drive them out. Throughout the company, more than 12,000 of its some 70,000 Detroit employees work on Army trucks. Tough, dependable trucks, engineered and built to serve our fighting men and women. Dodge Army vehicles and ambulances driven by Allied soldiers, sailors, and Marines have gone wherever roads have gone and over many a mile where wheels have never rolled before. They are among the trucks used in the front lines to carry men, weapons, and wounded, to haul guns, to provide rapid movement under all conditions. 300,000 strong.